Let me guess. Everyone thinks I'm fucking pissed off. Let me guess. Carmelo Anthony's your favorite player again. Let me guess. Carmelo Anthony went from being ranked 64th by ESPN to now being ranked 5th in the league now because he's not a Knick no more. Let me guess. Nobody wants to see the Knicks shine. Let me guess. Because we're in the fucking best city in the fucking world. Fuck OKC. Pieces of shit. Fuck. Good luck. Good luck looking for a party out there. Good luck looking for a fucking after hour out there. OKC my fucking balls. You fucking bastards. You don't fuck about you assholes. Your fucking team's gonna be broken up in 2 years anyway. Let me tell you something, kid. All you fucking pussies can laugh at the Knicks. But we working, baby. We moving forward. Shouts to the rookie. Shouts to the Turkish dude. Shouts to the fucking Knicks. Let's go. We working, moving forward. We gave y'all what y'all wanted. Melo fucking gone. Let's move forward.
Welcome to the NBA Clinic. Here, hosts Jonathan Purian and Sterling Mitchell take a deep dive and diagnose the current status on individual NBA teams. Caution. Takes from here on will be hot, focused on championships and based on a gym rat mentality. If you are not about that shit, go turn on ESPN.
Yeah. Who the jiggy nigga with the gold links? Got me reminiscing about my old days. 3-6 sucker nigga dick, no foreplay. All day, booming out the trap through the hallway. Tell me what you niggas know about.
Yo, we back. It's finally here. This is the podcast that I've been, kind of postponing for a while. I've been going through my ups and downs with this certain franchise. I just needed time to emotionally recover and come back and rise again with unyielding, stupid, fucking ignorant ass optimism that the Knicks are about to be way fucking better than everybody else thinks. Let's go. Fizdale the God has been hired as the head coach. There's a feeling. It's about, it's about certain sections. It's about certain eras. You gotta win the off season. You know what I mean? And for us, having limited resources, a really fucked up contract situation for the cancer virus that is known as Phil Jackson. And you know why, Sterling. You've seen the payroll.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for Knicks fans for the next 3 years, to be honest. You guys only got 2 years to endure these contracts.
If we plan this right, we could get good either quickly or we could build something amazing from the ground up. And we're kind of at the crossroads of having to decide how we want to do that. And I think it'll be interesting when we talk about the future section. But right now, we're going to talk about the past. Good Lord, what a wild ride it's been. When Carmelo left last year, it was a bittersweet moment, because in a lot of ways, Carmelo was the perfect Knick because he was, in fact, so imperfect. Like a Shakespearean play, if you will. He came in with all of the optimism and jubilance. I don't even know if that's a word. For so long, we had been absolutely ignored by free agents. We could not get any big agents to come play for us. It was probably just due to horrendous management from the past, like Isaiah Thomas. And we had our moments, of course, respectively, of the gods, Baron Davis and Nate Robinson. I'll forever remember those years. And Amari Stoudemire. Because before we traded for Carmelo, a lot of people don't mention this, but I remember, oh my God, I lived through it. I really remember that season. We were playing so fucking well before Carmelo came. We had a team, bro. Mike D'Antoni was the coach. Amari Stoudemire was healthy. We were the 4th seed in the East for the first year of the Big Three Miami Heat. So this is a very big deal. This is a very big deal for something that big to happen in the East Coast. And for us to still be popping really shows the testament of what we had as an organization. But of course, we bet the farm on one player, one man. Because we did, we had quite the high. We had highs and lows. It was an emotional roller coaster. I'll never forget the game-winning shot he hit on the Bulls. And also, more importantly, at the same time, like I was saying from before, his imperfections to me as a New York Knicks fan made him perfect. But I understand why we did it at the time we did, because we always wanted to get the big free agent guy. We always wanted to win the offseason. I don't know why. That was the thing that mattered to us. It's like, yeah, if we just get this superstar player, then we'll just start winning games. And then you guys can't tell us shit. And that's pretty much what we did with the Melo trade. So, from that perspective, I remember living through that. We thought it was a good idea. It was not. Definitely was bad.
Yeah, I think looking back on it, everybody would agree with that statement.
The Knicks sent Wilson Chandler, Raymond Felton, Danilo Gallinari, Timofey Mozgov, and a 2014 first-round draft pick to the Nuggets in exchange for Chauncey Billups, which at the time was like great, and Wilson Chandler. Like, remember when we were doing the Nuggets podcast, we were talking about like how good all of those individual players were at the time?
Yeah, that is kind of sad.
Fourth seed in the East, we were gonna make the playoffs anyways.
I had no idea y'all had Gallinari. I'm sad.
But I mean, Chauncey helped us for a little bit. He like smoothed how bad the drop off was gonna be because he was still playing really well back then too. Honestly.
That's true. It's always nice to have a nice veteran point guard.
But once Carmelo came, we were on a bit of a Nick high. I'll admit it. 2012, 2013. Probably the most optimistic year of my life, not gonna lie. Just the way I saw life is just completely different because the Knicks were just winning for so long. I was like, wow, this clearly means something. Like,
I thought the Knicks were looking promising.
I know. Even when we lost to the Pacers, I was like, bro, like there were moments where you could just see us like actually learning how to be a playoff team. Like, obviously you're not going to be able to contend like that. It was our first time getting there in a long time. But like the fact that we were appreciating the moment and trying to live up to the challenge, it was good. It was a good time. And we walked away with things to learn. It's just like, all right, this is how we try to get over the hump next year. Mike Woodson was our coach. He looked like Mr. Potato Head, and he was just lovable. It's just a lovable guy, lovable coach. I feel like that was like the perfect coach for Carmelo, honestly. Just like super fucking laid back. But like actually knew his shit about X's and O's.
Mike Woodson, I like him better as a commentator, to be honest, though.
Yeah, we fired him. I don't know why we fired him. He got us to like 54 games or something like that season. We got to the playoffs. Next season, it just starts falling apart. Phil Jackson coming in and just absolutely making it rain. Just random motherfucking European players and whatever he could from that one Wichita State team. I don't even remember what year it was. But I had Ron Baker and he was like, this is the core. Like, this is it. Like, these are going to be the players that'll change us. And like, took these huge risks. Because after he got Porzingis, like, the man felt unstoppable. Because Porzingis came in and was amazingly good. But that's a testament to Porzingis. That's not a testament to Phil Jackson.
I would say it's a pretty good find.
I think it was a lucky find. And I think he was just really trying to recreate the triangle era and was just looking for these pieces that would fit the triangle, which at the time he was very convinced about. But he also believed that three-pointers were not ways to win games. Like, he refused to switch to the ideology that three-pointers would become popular. And because he held on to that ideal, it ended up creating a bunch of very one-dimensional players because they fit the system rather than being these like whole, altogether skilled players. And it hurt us. And with that being said, this season, Sterling, how many Knicks games did you watch as a non-Knick fan?
Maybe like 3.
We deserve it. It started off good. Yeah, can I ask you, when you saw these 3 games, were most of them in the beginning of the season?
One of them I saw was towards the end, but like, yeah, so it was a lot more interesting.
Yeah, that was the thing. Porzingis going down was...
I mean, it did look like y'all was going to be a playoff team with him.
He was literally carrying us.
It's the unicorn. It means like it's something that you don't see.
Kevin Durant's like a unicorn, like for sure.
Yeah, they call Kevin Durant a unicorn.
Oh shit! Should I talk about the Carmelo trade? I didn't even get there. Fuck. Wow, all right. It says that the Knicks received
Enes Kanter,
Doug McDermott, and a second-round draft pick in the 2018 NBA draft.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, definitely in retrospect, y'all won the trade. But at the time, I would say that OKC probably thought it was a good trade, especially knowing that they had Paul George.
Just from a free agency standpoint, I could definitely see that being the case. So we're just going to jump now straight into this year's New York Knicks team payroll. We'll start with the most expensive player and move our way down as usual. Starting this off, we got Enes Kanter. He has a player option of $18.6 million for next season. By the way, we're recording this on like May, pretty much the beginning of May the 7th of 2018. So the Knicks season is pretty much done at this point. I'm just focused on next season's payroll. So he has a player option of $18.6 million, which he's probably going to take, which means he is the most expensive player on our books for that year. After that, we got the worst contract in the league, Joakim Noah, guaranteed $55.6 damn near million over the next 3 years, all guaranteed. $18.5 million for the 2018 season, and then the season after for 2019 2019-2020, he's going to get paid $19.295 million. For anybody who paid attention to the Knicks this year, which is probably nobody, Joakim Noah was being super fucking annoying with Jeff Hornacek. Like, those two did not get along with each other at all. I know Joakim Noah's washed. Honestly, he's never been good. It hurts me to say that because, yeah, I know he had, like, Defensive Player of the Year. Like, yeah, he was on the Bulls and all that. But, like, Sterling, I think you said this best. He's really good at just setting picks and screens, and, like, that's about it. And, like, he'll hustle on, like, defense for rebounds.
He's really only useful for defense and setting picks. You can't rely on this man to shoot the ball at all. So he can't be, like, a stretch big man. He doesn't really have that many post moves. He's mostly works off the glass. That's how he gets a good amount of his points. I don't know what Phil Jackson was thinking. Like, maybe he was doing this on purpose to, like, screw over the Knicks once he left. Terrible contract. I have no idea, like, why this was ever made in the first place. Yeah, I would say that Phil Jackson was one of those dudes who's just stuck in his ways. So he thought, like, his way would work. But it's just a new NBA now, and it clearly did not work out in this situation.
The next player we got up was signed recently by the new organization, which consists of Scott Perry for the GM. I'm going to keep it real with you right now. I don't fuck with James Dolan. I don't fuck with him as an owner. I know, most of the time I try to keep love and positivity out there in the world, but, like, frankly, what this man has done to New York has been an absolute financial disaster. There could be a healthy debate being made right now. What has been more detrimental to the average New Yorker's pocket? They could say either the subway system or they could say the Knicks games, because them ticket prices have been rising. And the product has gotten worse and worse. And they still we do it every time. We sucker ourselves into it with all this optimism and candor. There are seasons to being a Knicks fan. We come in every season, we see a marginal improvement that we definitely read into a lot, but also has the potential of being an improvement that could last us a long time. We come in with ridiculous optimism coming into the summer. We look at some free agents that we signed, and they're all, like, veterans that we're very hyped about, like, that are respectively, like, all right to good players. Fall comes, we start winning some games, we start losing some games, but we're a little bit above 500, and we're very, very excited. We're very, very excited what we're doing. Then comes the winter, the first half of the winter. So, we always do well for the Christmas game. Like, we always try to show out at least. So we're always struggling to be, like, around 500 around then. And then after that, once January hits, whether it be injury, whether it be coaches not getting along with the players, whether it be something, always happens around January. And then by March,
seems like there's a lot of turmoil.
Definitely. And it always happens in this very timely manner. They're really like the seasons of a Knicks fan. And then by, like, March, like, we kind of give up on the season and we just kind of focus on next season and how good our draft chances are, or what free agent will be available next year that we could try to convince to get on the Knicks, instead of, like, really looking at the problem, trying to clean it from the bottom up, which is, like, a whole organizational shift. Everything has been so unstable except in one spot, which has been the owner. James Dolan, the only reason why this man owns this team, pretty much inherited, and he doesn't really, like, appreciate what he has in terms of basketball. Like, the only reason why he deep down owns the Knicks is because he owns Madison Square Garden. He owns, like, both of them, right? And because he's just fucking rich, and the only reason why he uses it like it's a toy. He uses the Knicks like it's a toy, frankly. Like, all he does is just take, like, girls that are way too young for him out on these ridiculous dates so he can just show off the fact that he's the owner, and then he just leaves. And that's it. That's all he does as a person. And then he focuses on his piece of shit band. That's the only thing he does. Like, those are the only two main things he does with his life. And also to sprinkle this on, like, there's public records of him donating a fuck ton of money to Donald Trump. And albeit at the same time raising the prices on the tickets and making gear more expensive because we're a large market, instead of fixing the problem and actually improving the product. He has a monopoly.
I wish the best for you guys.
Oh, the change is coming. You want to know why? From this pessimism. Like I said, the summer 2 is coming. And once again, as the Knicks fan that I am, I will rise out of the ashes like a fucking phoenix with ridiculous optimism. The Knicks are fucking going 81-0 next season. Suck my dick from the back. You want to know why? Coach God Fizdale is come through. This guy is about to turn our franchise around. I'm a big believer in this. This is the first time in a very, very long time that we got a good coach.
Can he pull the Brad Stevens, though?
Bro, not many people on earth can pull the Brad Stevens, but can he do whatever the coaching grade is for below that? He can.
I feel like this man didn't get a fair shot when he was with the Grizzlies.
And he's been proven even before he was on Memphis, bro. He was the assistant coach of the Miami Heat. So I'm excited, man. Before we even get into the coaching, let's get back to this roster.
I believe it was on Tim Hardaway.
Tim Hardaway Jr. coming in at the age of 26. He is the next most expensive contract on the books. It is overvalued, which hurts for me to say, but it's true. I believe Tim Hardaway Jr. doesn't have the discipline to be as consistent enough as his talent shows. And because of that, I feel like we're not going to get the best out of him, even though the flashes that I've seen, he can be an absolute basketball killer, like unstoppable. When Tim Hardaway Jr. has gotten hot, he has been an amazing player. Given his age and the value of his contract and his previous history of performing in New York, I just don't see that being the case. He's getting paid $17.3 million for the next season, and then the year after, he's getting paid $18.1 million.
Yeah, I guess definitely got to agree with your analysis. I definitely see flashes of greatness in this man. Like, he could be really good if he just was consistent and he showed up every single game from game to game and played like at his best. Because when this man is balling, like you said, like, he can be unstoppable at times. But with his inconsistent nature, they definitely gave this man too much money.
It is what it is. After that, we got Courtney Lee coming in at the tender age of 32 years old. In the next season, he will be getting paid $12.2 million. And the season after, he'll be getting paid $12.7 million. And then after that, he's off the books for 2020-21. So what are your thoughts on Courtney Lee as a basketball player? You ever seen him play that many games?
I'm biased on this one because Courtney Lee is an Indianapolis boy. So I've always liked him, especially when he was on the Grizzlies with Mike Conley. They had two Indianapolis boys in the starting lineup.
That actually, yeah, he was cold then. That was for sure his best years.
Now, 12 million might be it's probably too much, but the man is just a solid basketball player. He's one of those role players who he's mostly going to be like a 3-and-D type of dude. I would say 12 million might be a little overvalued, but he is a veteran. I'd say this is one of those contracts where you're giving a man his due. Like, he put his time in the league, and this is kind of like a farewell contract. Like, you probably getting paid more than you should be getting paid at this moment, but we want to show you that your hard work paid off. Here's that money, and just ride off into the sunset.
Yeah, definitely. He's had a great career. This is a Phil Jackson contract, to be clear, so the reason why it is overvalued is because of Phil. But Courtney Lee is a solid role player. Like, he could be on a playoff team and be doing very well.
Like, he's definitely a system player.
So yeah, man, respect Courtney Lee a lot. I actually like him as a basketball player, and I respect his service that he's given to the Knicks for sure. After that, we got Lance Thomas. He's just a basketball player on the second unit. And to be honest, he's not that good. And we paid him a lot of money. And that's Phil Jackson. Good Lord. God.
This contract is, I don't know how this man, he's not getting paid too much, but still for a player that's like not very recognizable in the NBA. He went to my favorite school in Duke.
Don't worry, girls. There's plenty of Duke to go around.
And I kind of forgot about him, to be honest.
Wow,
That's what we're talking about
wait. We got to take a moment to recognize this. Sterling, being the Duke fan that he is, did not recognize Lance Thomas. Like, you know you're trash when you could be on fucking Duke and Sterling doesn't even know who you are. Like, goddamn, Lance Thomas.
He's also on the championship team, which makes it even worse.
Yeah, with like Kyle Singler in them, right?
Yep, and John Shire, Nolan Smith, who I always thought looked like the Duke logo.
That's pretty funny.
But yeah, I don't really know what they were thinking with a 30-year-old Lance Thomas. I think his time might just be up. He's getting paid for the next 2 years, $7 million. So, and it goes up to $7.5 in 2019-20. So apparently he must have the right agent and talking to the right people.
Next season, we're figuring out these agents. Next season, I'm going to start paying attention to these agents because this shit is getting interesting, honestly, with some of these contracts. After that, you know, we got the fucking unicorn himself. Bro, oh my God. Let's really get into this. I'm so excited just to talk about this. You know, the one shining diamond in the shithole we call our payroll. Kristaps Porzingis. I don't even want to get into the on-the-court stuff right now because we all know he's the real deal. I want to talk about the off-court stuff. I think Kristaps really grew as a New York player off the court this season, and I really just want to congratulate him for that. I'm going to insert a round of applause here because it's really that big of a deal to me as a Knicks fan. This moment was absolutely amazing in terms of just the year in his off-court career. First of all, the man's Instagram game just bagged Jen Selter in the DMs. Straight up, she came to him. I gotta give props to that. Another amazing post that I saw at the beginning of the season was Kristaps Porzingis on the top of his car, all black, of course, wearing a Scully and some clean fucking Timbs.
The Timbs are nice.
And the caption said, "Deadass facts be." And I wanted to cry. It was amazing.
I did see that photo, and that was kind of hard. It was a really hard photo of him just sitting on the car in the Timbs.
All the right off the court season moves were being made. That's when you know he was a New Yorker. It was like a proud New York moment. It was great.
That is true.
But now that we talked about the off the court stuff, let's get into these beautiful, beautiful stats. My man Kristaps coming in 22.7 points from the last season of 27-18. That's right, I'm saying last season because we in the damn near in the future now. Played 48 games. It was short, but goddamn beautiful. Just teased us with his greatness. 22.7 points, 6 total rebounds, field goal percentage of 43.9% with a 3-point percentage of 39.5%. So close to 40. My God, you can almost taste it. It's beautiful. And for those who care about PER, it was a 20.4. Pretty fucking impressive. This man, once again, had himself a year. And first of all, I want to really congratulate him for taking on the challenge of being the number one guy in New York after Carmelo left. To just fill those shoes immediately is, amazing. What an accomplishment. Very proud of this guy.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Before KD started playing defense, I was like, he could be like KD who plays defense. But now KD actually plays defense. Because Kristaps is no slouch on defense. Like, I know you just displayed his offensive stats, but this man is a monster when it comes to blocks.
Yeah, he might be one of the best blockers in the league. They're the best blocker in the league, arguably. He knows how to protect the paint, for sure.
I also like his attitude overall that he brings to the game. He's a hard worker.
Yeah, he's very much focused on the craft. And he's honest with you when he's just like, bro, I'm really going through these shits right now. Like, I've been training so much, but I got to do it because I want to win a championship. And I'm like, bro, I love you. He just says the right things every single time. To go from Carmelo to this is actually really relaxing. Like, it's just consistency. Like, he's going to be a professional the whole time. Like, we haven't had like a professional star in a Knicks uniform in a while.
That's true. Carmelo did set y'all back a little.
But also, Carmelo pulled up to a bodega with a Lamborghini and nothing but a bathrobe and a couple of gold chains. And a cigar in mouth. Like, that's, culturally, that's amazing.
My favorite moment is when he was hoodie mellow, practicing in the streets on some street court. I was like, oh, that's kind of hard. Just in New York over the summer, early in the morning, just putting in that work.
It just hurts that it didn't pay off, but we're gonna save that for the Thunder podcast coming next. That's probably gonna be our next episode. Coming back to Porzingis, he is the one. He is the GOAT. I just want him to get healthy. I don't want him to rush his season coming back. I just want him to focus on being the best Porzingis he can be. Because I want to see Fizdale coach. I want to see Fizdale coach really badly. After that, I'm just going to shout out players because they're not really meaningful. But they're there. I could have like sweet little stories to talk about them in terms of what they do for the team. But in long-term goals, I don't think any of these players are going to be meaningful in the future unless they've reached their most potential, which would be amazing. Like, I hope for that. I hope I eat my words on that. I really want to. We got Ron Baker, of course, the most un-New York Knick I've ever seen in my life. This guy is like a Midwestern farmer boy straight out of Wichita State and he's just living in New York and constantly getting the living shit beaten out of him. I've seen Ron Baker take so many fucking swings and just always get injured in just the craziest ways. But he's always out there playing, like just trying to do his best, and he's just getting washed every day. Like, but he still shows up to work. And it's not like showing up to work in Miami. It's showing up to work in New York. Like, have you ever tried to travel in New York during like the winter? Shit's a fucking nightmare. You don't want to be like. There's some moments you don't even want to be alive. There's some moments where it's just absolutely like so grimily miserable. But it's a character builder in the weirdest of fucking ways. Only played 29 games because he got injured. Like, he got hit in the face or some shit and dislocated shoulder, some injury, because it's always some injury. And had 2.4 points. Not a good basketball player. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. He's just not a good fit on this team. And he's Ron Baker. It's just Ron Baker. He's my guy, though. He's my fucking guy. Whenever I see him on the court, it's just like, oh, shit, my guy, Ron Baker. Just fucking out here getting these garbage minutes. Like, love you, Ron. But yeah, man, he's got a fucking 1-year contract left Oh, no, that's actually over for this season. So he has a player option of $4.5 million for the next season. He can take it. He cannot take it if he wants to.
He's just one of those hustle players, really.
That and
Like,
Phil Jackson was in love with that Wichita State team. I have no idea why. He just loved it. He was in love with them. It makes no sense. He drafted Ron Baker and he drafted Galloway that year and was like, this is the core. Like, this is the core we've been waiting for. Like, he thought that was their most precious moment. Like, he was so hyped. I remember Phil was so hyped about getting these two guys. He was like, the future is now. We're gonna win. We're gonna win a lot. And it just was like, what the fuck are you seeing in these players, Phil?
No, didn't he draft Clee Anthony early?
He drafted Clee Anthony early. That's who it was.
Yes, that's the other player that was on Wichita State.
Yep, thank you.
I thought he was going to be good, though. I really thought he was going to be good. Well, the thing is, he was never really that good of an offensive player. He was going to have to be developed into one, but he had potential. He was pretty good at defense, though.
That's true. All the Wichita State players were.
Defense wins championships.
All right, after Ron Baker, we got Kyle Quinn, probably the most recognizable Knick if you actually live in New York. Everybody fucking knows him. He has the beard. He always has those fucking crazy, like, he always gets so hyped. And you see that shit on commercials and stuff for, like, the MSG network and all that shit. You know, he's the man. He's the man in New York. He's really, like, super identifiable. He's just a hard worker, a hustler. Really represents a lot of the values that New Yorkers are proud of. The way that he works for rebounds and stuff, you know. He's always done his best to represent New York being a Knick. And, you know, I'm very grateful for him. 28 years old. He's getting paid $4.2 million if he chooses to pick up his player option. He was averaging 7 points this season, 6 rebounds, and pretty efficient for what he does, being that he's always on the inside, just doing putbacks and stuff. Not really. 58.2% from field goal, which you would think is impressive for an average basketball player, but given the role that he plays, actually not that impressive. But everything else, very good. Very good league average stuff. From similar players who play the way that Kyle Quinn does, which is just like a traditional big.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of Kyle Quinn, too. I know I've been saying that for, like, most of these players. But I just always like how the crowd go crazy when he goes into the game.
After that, we got Frank Ntilikina coming in, the Rook. Coming into his sophomore season, I expect a lot out of him, honestly. I think Phil was kind of onto something when they drafted him, but I definitely think he should have not gotten drafted to us in the position that he did. A lot is riding on the sophomore year for my guy. Because what we missed, Donovan Mitchell, Malik Monk. Was Dennis Smith Jr. taken after it?
I think it was like 9.
And I think Frank might have been 8th.
Dennis Smith fell off so hard, though.
It's because Mark Cuban told him to tank, though. I can't blame. If your owner, the man who's paying your bills, is telling you have to do this. Can I read off to you the other draft picks that we could have had instead of him?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we draft Frank Ntilikina at number 8. Number 9, Dallas drafts Dennis Smith Jr. Number 10, Sacramento drafts Zach Collins. Number 11, Hornets draft Malik Monk. Number 12, they draft Luke Kennard. 13, the Jazz get Donovan Mitchell. 14, Miami Heat get Bam Adebayo. I mean, all those players are really good. Like, I think have done more for their team than Ntilikina has.
Wait, did Phil make this pick?
Yeah, this was his last pick right before he left. And he's European. He's from France.
I guess this was a potential pick. Like, all of his picks, I guess, are supposed to be, because none of his picks really, like, besides Porzingis, I think he's been picking projects, really. Now, looking back at it, I feel like he picks projects.
You're definitely right.
To be developed. Because even Kristoff, he played a lot. He performed a lot better than everybody expected he would at the beginning. Because everybody expected, like, eventually, yeah, he could do good. But nobody expected him just to, like, ball out at the beginning.
Phil Jackson also wasn't paying attention to this draft, though. Like, he got caught sleeping in a couple of NBA draft workouts. And that shit's, like, really embarrassing. Like, negligence of your job. It just sucks. It just really sucks, because, like, what could have been? Imagine if we had Mitchell and Porzingis on the same team, bro.
That'd be ridiculous. That does beg the question, though, would Donovan Mitchell be the same on the Knicks, though?
I don't know.
Because I feel like that Jazz system kind of just fit him perfectly. Next.
We got fucking Moutier. We traded for somebody who's exactly like Frank Ntilikina. Same exact thing. The only person that we have left that I want to talk about is Trey Burke. I want to see if he can run this back, because that second half of the season was very impressive. I don't know if he's figured out something sustainable. I actually doubt it, but if he proves me wrong.
You're big on him.
The second half of the season was amazing, man. He was balling out. That shit came out of nowhere. So now that we're done talking about the roster, we're going to get into the future. Sterling, I want you to go first because I still need more time to think about what I'd want for the Knicks to do.
Well, I'm re-signing Beasley just because I love Beasley. He's always been one of my favorite players in the league. And I feel like he'll still be a nice addition coming off the bench and being able to be a sixth man. So I'm re-signing Beasley. I'm hoping that Ron Baker does not take his player option. If he does, I'm going to try to package him in a trade with Moutier because this team is too heavy on point guards right now with Trey Burke, Moutier, and Neil Akina on the same team. And especially since Moutier's been in the league for a couple years now, I don't know how much better he's really going to get if he hasn't shown too much improvement at this point.
Getting rid of some of the guards is definitely going to help out. Is there anything else you'd want to do?
I feel like the best option is trying to go out and get a superstar to come while also hitting the draft hard and trying to make the best and trying to hit the best picks that you can.
Who do you think the Knicks should draft this year?
Can I lottery pick? Well, I feel like this team is really missing a strong small forward. I would go after Miles Bridges.
You mean Mikal Bridges?
Yeah, Mikal Bridges.
I would love to have him on this team. Mikal Bridges would be amazing.
I feel like that'd be a great addition, especially with Kristaps.
Actually, you know what? We need another scorer. Unless we're banking on Trey Burke, we do need another scorer. Mikal Bridges would be good. Mikal Bridges is like a sure thing.
I'm really not sold on Trey Burks. I really think he peaked at Michigan in that championship game because I expected so much more when he went to the Jazz and he just underperformed so much. I know you said he had a great second half of the season last year. And honestly, I would actually like to see him keep balling if he was really doing that well because what he did at Michigan was magical.
So, what are your thoughts on Colin Sexton?
Colin Sexton is a great basketball player. I also feel like he has that New York attitude, too.
Yeah, thank God. Now that we don't have Phil anymore, we can actually draft NBA players that represent New York. I understand New York's an international mecca, but fuck.
And I feel like Colin Sexton honestly would fit right in. That man is a ferocious basketball player. He brings it on offense and defense. He will not let up on you. He talks shit.
And with that being said, is there anything else you want to say about the New York Knicks, Sterling?
Nah, got everything I got to say.
Oh, thank God this shit was over. That was exhausting.
Dirty folk niggas, how you been? You been crushing 9 minds, niggas talk 9 every now and then. On the south, giving style 9 times out of 10.